Okay, imagine this. You've just turned 25, and instead of, a birthday card, this really formal letter arrives.
Hmm.
And it's got news. News that you've inherited a mansion in Chelsea, one of London's most exclusive spots.
Sounds like a lottery win, right? A dream come true.
Exactly. But what if that dream uh, came with this absolutely terrifying legacy, like a vanished family, these mysterious deaths,
Mm.
chilling echoes of a past you never even knew existed?
That's what we're diving into today. We've got this stack of really compelling source material, all revolving around that exact scenario.
It's a story just wrapped in layers, isn't it? Mystery, family secrets, survival, all centered on this grand but definitely haunted house in Chelsea.
Absolutely. And our mission really is to unpack the incredible complexities. We need to trace these multiple sort of interconnected narratives to get the full picture.
From that shocking inheritance that kicks it all off.
Right through to the hidden lives inside the house and, well, the shocking events that led to it being empty. Tragic, really.
So let's start with Libby. Libby Louise Jones. The sources paint her as, pretty ordinary, content with her life, got her own little flat, a small pay raise. Things are okay.
And then this envelope arrives. Cream-colored high-grade paper from Smithkin Rudd and Royal Solicitors, Chelsea Manor Street, SW3.
Yeah, apparently she'd been kind of subconsciously waiting for something like this since turning 25, but actually opening it, that felt huge.
And the news inside is just staggering. She's inherited 16 Cheyne Walk, SW3, a huge house in Chelsea worth an absolute fortune.
Her first thought.
This must be a mistake. Just total disbelief.
I mean, you can imagine a life-changing inheritance completely out of nowhere. And not just any house, a Chelsea mansion.
It completely shatters her world, doesn't it? Makes her own comfortable life, her flat, her pay raise suddenly feel like a ridiculous joke, as the source puts it.
So she goes to see the house with Mr. Royal, the solicitor.
Yeah. And the description is vivid. It's a violently hot summer day. Chelsea's bustling. And then there's this house. 3 floors, 4 windows wide, clearly beautiful ones.
But
Now it's boarded up, overgrown weeds everywhere, a real eyesore, actually. And get this, a full-sized cannon in the front garden.
a cannon. Okay, that's unusual.
Yeah.
A hint of eccentricity there.
Definitely. And inside, it's just empty. Furniture's long gone, which is the first clue, really.
How so?
It suggests the people who lived there last were poor, despite the house's grandeur, which immediately clashes with Libby's sort of fantasy image of her birth parents.
Right. But then she finds something personal, something incredibly personal.
Yes. In the dressing room, 2nd floor master bedroom, she finds her own crib,
Her own crib.
the very one. Rocking design, buttermilk cream, pale blue roses. It even has a Harrods logo, a direct link.
Wow. And there was something else, wasn't there? In the crib?
Tucked in the blankets, yeah. A small box. Inside, a rabbit's foot.
A rabbit's foot, like a good luck charm.
Seems so. The police, back when they found baby Libby there, just assumed it was left for her.
Yeah.
It's this small, tangible clue connecting her to this deep, dark mystery.
So who were these people living in 16 Cheyne Walk before her? We need to go back.
Exactly. To understand Libby's inheritance, we have to understand the past occupants. The sources tell us it was originally Henry Lamb Sr. and his wife Martina Lamb, Libby's birth parents.
Henry Lamb Sr. What was he like?
Well, the picture painted is of a man of considerable wealth, drove a Jaguar, wore Mayfair suits, had a private bar, and he filled that house with what he called objects.
Objects, like art.
Sort of, but more
Mm.
intense. Moose heads, hunting swords, mahogany thrones, a medieval banqueting table, cabinets full of pistols. Oh, and the cannon, of course.
Okay, so quite the collector.
The description from his son, Henry Jr., is telling. Wood and leather and metal and glass, everything was hard, especially my father. It paints a picture of rigid wealth, maybe a bit cold.
And what about Martina, the mother?
Martina Lamb, quite different. A socialite, ran her own fashion PR company. Apparently she was once engaged to an Austrian prince. Stunning, glamorous.
So a wealthy, possibly rigid father and a glamorous socialite mother. But that world starts to change, doesn't it?
It does. Things begin to shift with the arrival of Bertie Dunlop Evers. She was in a pop group. Her and her partner, Justin, turn up, needing a place to stay.
Why?
They got kicked out of their last place for having a cat, Suki. So they arrive with just 2 suitcases and the cat.
And the Lambs just take them in.
Seems so. And Bertie's band, the original version, they actually film a music video in the house.
In the house.
Yep, and it becomes a #1 hit. Suddenly the house is on view to millions. This kind of bohemian intrusion happens just before things take a much darker turn.
Okay, what happens next?
The Lamb family finances start to decline. Then Henry Sr. has a stroke, which leaves him diminished, less capable.
And this is where David Thompson comes in.
Exactly. Bertie introduces him. He's supposedly this miracle worker, physiotherapist, and pretty soon David moves in, along with his wife, Sally, and their kids. Phineas, they call him Finn and Clemency.
So the house is getting crowded.
Very. And this is where David's influence really starts to grow. Insidiously.
How so? What do you do?
He starts implementing these household rules, really strict ones. No electric or gas heating, homemade clothes only, everyone sleeping on mattresses, growing their own herbs for everything.
It sounds almost like a cult.
It has that feel, definitely. The house becomes silent and deathly, according to Henry Jr., the son. He feels totally isolated. He watches his parents just become shadows of who they were, especially his mother, Martina. She falls under David's spell entirely.
And Henry Jr. sees other things too, right?
He does. He witnesses David having an affair with Bertie.
This is just, it's a pressure cooker situation.
And it gets worse. Much worse. It's not just manipulation. It's this chilling slide into coercive control. Financial strain, vulnerability. It's the perfect storm.
And then the pregnancies.
Yes. Shockingly, Henry Jr.'s mother, Martina, becomes pregnant with David's baby.
David's baby.
While married to Henry Sr. Yes. And Henry Jr., the son, is desperate. He actually tries to find herbs to terminate the pregnancy using a book Justin had.
God, how old was he?
Just a teenager. And then, even more horrifically, his sister Lucy falls pregnant too. Also by David.
Lucy, how old was she?
14.
14. Oh my God, that's predatory. That's abuse.
Absolutely. It's chilling. The systematic stripping away of everything, comfort, autonomy, safety. It's heading towards disaster.
And it culminates on one specific night, doesn't it?
It does. Henry Jr., the son, is consumed by rage by this point. He decides he has to finish David off for good.
He plans to kill him.
He plans to use deadly nightshade, a tropa belladonna, which was actually growing in the garden. But he's aiming for what he calls a temporary stupefaction, a sleeping draft.
Not necessarily to kill.
That seems to be his initial thought, based on the sources. He even tests a small amount on Bertie's cat, Suki.
And what happens to the cat?
The cat dies, tragically. And in this really quite twisted detail, Henry takes its tail.
He takes the cat's tail. Okay, that's disturbing.
It really is. So then it's Bertie's 30th birthday party. Henry puts the draft, the nightshade concoction, into the food or drinks.
And chaos breaks out.
Complete chaos. Bertie is obviously affected, barely coordinated. She apparently lunges at Lucy. And Henry Jr., in a moment of panic, hits Bertie with something described as a tusk, an object in the house.
He hits her. But the poison. What happens with the poison?
This is the horrifying outcome. 4 adults die. David Thompson, Bertie, Henry's mother Martina, and Henry's father, Henry Sr., all dead from the poison.
All 4 from the draft Henry made.
Yes, and Henry himself is confused. He says something like, "I hardly gave them anything. Such a tiny amount, not enough to kill a cat." It suggests the potency, or the dose, was misjudged catastrophically, an accidental mass poisoning.
Well, who survived?
The children, Henry Jr., his sister Lucy, David's daughter Clemency, and the baby, Martina's baby with David, the baby named Serenity.
Who we now know as Libby.
Exactly. Serenity is Libby.
So what happens immediately after? In that house, with 4 bodies.
Henry Jr. takes charge, in a way. He helps clear out valuables, finds nearly 7,000 pounds in cash, some jewelry, passports, though they were expired.
And then he does something crucial.
He fakes a suicide note, makes it look like a murder-suicide pact. And importantly, he names the baby in the note Serenity Lamb, setting her up to be found, leaving this false trail.
While ensuring the truth stays buried for decades. Wow. Okay, so the aftermath. What happens to the survivors? Lucy first.
Lucy, who is still just a teenager, pregnant, traumatized. She takes Finn, David's son, who's severely malnourished from living under his father's rules, and the baby, Serenity Libby. She goes for help.
To who?
Dr. Broughton, her father's private physician. And it turns out Dr. Broughton has connections, knows high-profile criminals, the source says.
So he helps them disappear.
He does. Gets them through the Eurotunnel, sets them up on a farm in Bordeaux, France. A clean break.
And do they stay together, Lucy and Finn?
For a while, but eventually Finn leaves. He goes to Nice. Lucy stays in France. She starts busking with her fiddle, trying to build some kind of new life.
Does she? Build a new life?
Sort of. She marries a very rich man, has her first son, Marco. Then that ends. Later, she has a daughter, Stella, with a very poor man who also leaves her. So it's been tough.
And years later, things get really desperate for her again.
Yeah, the sources describe her as homeless on the Côte d'Azur, with Marco and Stella and their dog, Fitz. Her fiddle, her way of earning money, is broken.
She's just completely rock bottom.
And then Marco sees someone. He tells Lucy he's seen his father, Michael Rimmer, the rich man living nearby in Antibes.
Her abusive ex-husband?
The source implies an abusive past, yes. But Lucy is desperate. She needs passports to get her and the kids to the UK, maybe start over again, so she seeks him out.
Which leads to another terrible encounter.
Absolutely chilling. Michael is manipulative. He makes advances on her. And Lucy, acting out of what seems like pure self-preservation, ends up killing him. Violently.
She kills him.
Yes. Then she cleans the scene meticulously, hides the body in his cellar, takes 3,000 euros she finds, and makes her escape.
Towards London.
Towards London, terrified the whole way. She's now, in her mind, an illegal immigrant and a killer, just piling trauma upon trauma.
It's just staggering. Her journey is this stark example of trauma's long tail, isn't it? And the extreme length someone will go to survive, especially protecting their kids.
It really makes you ask, what does it take? What does it take to break free from that kind of cycle, when survival means making impossible choices?
Such a heavy question. Meanwhile, what about Henry Jr.? The boy who set the stage left the note.
Right. So after the deaths, he stayed with the baby, Serenity Libby, for a short time. Then he set her up to be found, added her name to that faked suicide note.
And then he just vanished.
Pretty much. He moves to a flat in Marylebone, dyes his hair blonde, starts working out, builds muscle. He's actively trying to become someone else.
A new identity.
Exactly. And he actually becomes quite successful, ends up as an executive at an internet company, but he never lets go of the house.
He's obsessed with it.
Completely. He even manipulates an employee at the solicitors, a guy named Josh, to get access to the trust paperwork for 16 Cheyne Walk.
What does he find out?
He learns the house is legally held in trust for the Lamb descendants until they turn 25, which means eventually for Libby.
And this ties into the I am PHI thing.
Yes, those scribbles that Libby eventually finds, that's Henry. But it's not just a random phrase. It's explained as this deep psychological identification. He became Finn in his mind.
Why Finn? David Thompson's son.
He apparently loved Finn more than any other person, saw him as his soulmate. Becoming Finn was his escape hatch from being, as he saw it, pathetic little Henry Lamb. It's a profound example of how trauma can fracture identity.
So the man Libby eventually meets, who calls himself Finn, is actually her brother, Henry, living under this adopted identity.
Correct. And it's this Henry, living as Finn, who eventually seeks Libby out when she turns 25. He says he wants closure, feels this bond with the baby sister he left behind.
Which brings us back to Libby's search for truth. She is back at the house, this time with a journalist, Miller Rowe.
Yes, and they find those chilling words. I am, V-R-I-M, scrawled in a drawer. And then, the confrontation.
They actually meet him, Henry Effin.
Yes. He's been living secretly in the house's attic, watching, observing. And he looks much younger than his actual age, which is early 40s by now.
What does he tell them?
He drops the bombshell that the suicide was murder. And then he says, the third body was my father, referring to David Thompson, the man he's impersonating.
That must have been incredibly confusing and terrifying for Libby.
And it gets worse. Finn, or Henry, takes them to his apartment nearby, which overlooks the Chelsea house, and he drugs them.
He drugs them. Why?
To control the narrative, it seems. Miller had been recording Finn's story, and Finn deletes the recording while they're unconscious. It's about maintaining his version, his secrets.
Wow. So Libby and Miller realize they need the untainted truth.
Yeah.
From someone else who was there.
Exactly. They track down Clemency, David Thompson's daughter, Finn Henry's sister, and Lucy's childhood friend from the house. She's now living in Penrith.
And does Clemency talk?
She does. She confirms everything. David's abuse, his manipulation of her own parents, the utterly toxic atmosphere in that house.
And the night of the deaths.
She reveals the full, horrifying details, Henry Jr.'s plan with the nightshade, how it went wrong, the accidental nature of the 4 deaths. She confirms the horror of Lucy being pregnant by David at 14. And she talks about her own trauma, the silence she carried for years.
Finally, the full picture.
Yeah.
Or close to it. And then the reunion happens.
Yes. Lucy arrives in London with her kids, Marco and Stella, and the dog. She heads straight for 16 Cheyne Walk, expecting it to be empty, maybe needing shelter.
And who does she find?
She finds Henry, her brother, living as Finn. Imagine that moment after decades. Deeply emotional.
And then Libby joins them.
Yes. The three surviving Lamb siblings, finally together in that house. Lucy gets to tell Libby tearfully that she never meant to abandon her. She was trying to get help for Finn back then, got held for observation herself, and by the time she was out, baby Libby was gone, adopted.
So Libby gets that closure too, and reunites with Henry, her brother.
Accepts his apologies, his love, bridging all those years of mystery, and Lucy and Clemency reconnect too, acknowledging their shared trauma. It's remarkable, really.
It is that despite everything, the unimaginable trauma, the violence, the secrets, these survivors are all seeking connection, seeking some kind of peace.
Their lives have been completely warped by what happened, but they're still striving for, well, for normalcy, whatever that looks like for them now.
So we've really gone through a labyrinth here, haven't we? Inherited wealth turning into a nightmare, hidden abuse, those accidental deaths, desperate escapes, lives lived under false identities.
And incredible resilience, too. Libby finding her past, Lucy fighting for her future, Henry confronting his actions, Clemency finding her voice. The story of the Chelsea house is just this powerful testament to trauma's impact, but also to those complex, sometimes broken but enduring family bonds.
This deep dive really shows how tangled up identity, family, and environment can become, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Henry believed he had to become Finn to survive. Lucy literally had to create new lives, new identities, just to escape and protect her children. And Libby, she found her true identity only by digging up this incredibly dark past.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? Consider this. How much do our own environments, our pasts, shape not just who we are right now, but who we believe we need to become just to get by, to survive?
That's a powerful thought. And what happens when those survival identities, those masks we create, are maybe no longer necessary? Or maybe they even start holding us back? What then?